I got scammed on eBay again for the umpteenth time. This is another Craftmade Piccolo PI30W or P130W or PL30W. I actually don't know what that character is. I got a lot of feedback on the video of trying to paint the blades, and it was very interesting to read through the different ideas that people had to correct it. But the problem is, all of the ideas would have taken several hours to execute, really without any guarantee of being successful. Part of the problem is I would have to revert all the blades back to the original condition. Had I just painted one and then realized it wasn't going to work, I would have at least had the 4 to try, and then if I knew something was going to work, I could go ahead and strip the paint off one blade and redo it. But at this point I would have to start from scratch on all the blades, and it's going to take some time to get it there. Then I got to buy new materials, and it's going to take some time to put the materials on, and who knows if it's going to work. It's just not time I want to spend. If it was a vintage piece, it's a whole different story. Well, I don't want to put that kind of time into something modern. So the other option was to just throw out the fans and never think about them again, or buy a whole new one just for the blades. I've already got both fans hanging on the ceiling. One of them works. I got the wire I've already bought. I got the 2 fans I already bought, the 2 motors, the 1 blades. I've come far enough that I don't want to just cancel out the project, so as absurd as it is, I opted to buy a whole new fan just for the blades. I looked on the Amazons and it was about $170 for a unit, which is kind of insane to me. That's super steep for a little 30-inch fan. But the listing should have ended up correct, because it said blades included and all this stuff, and the pictures, whatever. It was all correct. So had I bought that one, probably wouldn't be having to even make this video right now. But that was a lot of money to me. So I says, let me check on stupid eRipoff and see if the eRipoff has any better prices. There's quite a few of these on there, and they range from about $120 up to about $150, so a little better. I bought one of the cheaper ones, which was from it wasn't like an individual sale from a average Frank Joe person. It was from a fairly big retailer, which I've never bought from before, but I've heard of. I know it's a real legitimate thing. And the description has paragraphs and paragraphs of information, which is annoying. And it had pictures in the listing. Of course, they were stock pictures, but it pictures the whole fan with the blades and all. And the description, I read the first couple paragraphs, talked about the motor size, and then it says blades. And it starts listing all these things about blades. It says number of blades, 5 color blades, white, blade pitch 25 degrees, or whatever the degrees is. So I says, alright, this sounds pretty good. I ordered it, and it comes in. I open the box. I was actually going to do 2 April Fool videos. I was going to open the box, take the blades out, and throw the rest in the trash. And it would be April Fools for the evening. But, ironically, I opened this on April Fool's Day. And this is a brand new thing, sealed in the box. You can see that there's only ever been 1 piece of tape. It wasn't cut. New, not used, not refurbished, not whatever. Brand new. I open it up. Do you see blades? I sure don't. There's no blades. And the irony of opening this up on April Fool's Day was like unbearable. So I go back on the computer and I go back to the listing, and it's the same thing I did last time this happened. I copied all the text, I put it into a text editor, and I searched for the word blades. And I'm looking at all the sentences that have blades, and there's sure a lot of them. And I get to the bottom of the listing, and this is almost comical if it wasn't droning on for so long. there's a sentence at the bottom of the listing in plain, uninteresting, unintention grabbing font. And it's almost snarky. It says something like, very important information. And there's a colon. And after the colon it says, the listing is only for the motor. It does not include the blades. Now that to me is a scam, because that listing description was written in such a way that the intention was that nobody would see that, and the unassuming customer would just buy it anyways, expecting the full fan, and end up with this. And because the return policy requires you to pay for shipping and a 30% restocking fee or whatever it was, you would be at probably 60 or 70% the cost of the fan to send it back, so it's not worth it, so you just keep it and the customer gets screwed. Typical eBay transaction. I'm so baffled by this. I'm frustrated by it, but at this point I'm just more confused than anything as to why the blades aren't there, because the cutout for the blades is right here. And when I ordered the oil bronze ones, the blades come in the box right here. So why the blades does not come in the box with the white one? So I write to the seller and I says, I want to order the blades. What do they cost? Where can I get them? Seller responds and says, we don't stock them. What? So the seller sells a product that comes in multiple pieces but only sells one piece? And like I said before, this is not one listing. This is a listing of who knows how many hundreds available, a brand new product. Where is the blades? In just sheer disbelief of this, I wrote an email to Craftmade. And I explained the situation. I says, at the bottom line is I have two motors now. I bought from two separate places, and they don't come with blades, and I don't understand it, and I need the stinking blades. And much to my surprise, somebody wrote back within, I think, less than 4 hours. And the lady says, she writes, the blades, the part number for the blades is, whatever the part number was, we have 13 in stock. I says, okay, that's great. And I copied and pasted the second part of my email about wanting to actually order it, and I sent it. And then she responds again, also pretty quickly, and says, I should have printed it out because the sentence is absurd. I wanted to read it verbatim, but she says, I had explained to her that I can't find them anywhere. Like I literally typed that part number into Google, and I got that weird message where it says, there's no results on the face of the planet that match that number, which is very rare. You don't see that too often. And so I just explained that to her, and she responds to me and she says, there's 13 in stock, but you have to call this retailer and have them order it. You're correct in that it's not for sale online anywhere. So now I'm even more confused, because now Craftmade itself has confirmed that these blades that should be here do not exist, but yet they sell this fan. Well, the blades aren't sold with the fan, but you can't buy the blades separately, so what am I missing? The icing on the cake here, I don't even like cake, the icing on the cookies is the retailer that I was told to call and order the blades from is the same retailer that sold this to me on eBay. So I don't understand it. I'm so tired of this, and I'm so confused by it. I can't even be angry. It's frustrating because it's been droning on for so long and it's wasting a lot of money. But at this point, I'm just so confused, I can't even get past the confusion. So I'm going to, or I did today, I sent an email to the business that sold this to me, not through eBay. I went to their website, which has a slightly different name, but it's ultimately the same entity. And there's been no response yet, but it's only been like an afternoon or an evening. I'll give it through tomorrow, and then if that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to call Why the order cannot be processed any other way besides on the telephone is beyond me. I don't really want to place the order on the telephone because chances are high the call center is staffed with people that don't speak English as the first language. And so when you're trying to read um, uncommon words like a street name and so forth, it often doesn't get captured properly. So I'd much rather have it in writing so it can just be copied and pasted on the computer. But I guess I'm going to have to call, and I don't know. I'm just so baffled by this. So that's where I'm at now. I have yet another one of these, which I have no use for. Another $100 and something gone, plus the original cost of those blades and the paint. I should just bought the one on Amazon. I would have spent about the same amount of money, and I would have had a working product. I just can't understand why, if you sell something, well, I don't understand why the blades don't come with it in the first place. That I can't get past because the other finishes come with the blades. So why the white one doesn't come with the blades, I don't understand. But if you're gonna ship it that way, how can you set it up that way but not sell the blades? I don't. It doesn't make any sense.